Welcome everyone to Keep It Classy Tech. This video will be the review for the Samsung QN90A Neo QLED for 2021. So I'll start off by saying if you are accustomed to OLED and you're looking for moderately lit or dark room, serious movie watching performance, this is not going to be the TV for you. The QN90A serves an entirely different purpose. So if you are someone who has only had LCD TVs, or especially if you have used Samsung TVs, then this is likely to be the best looking TV that you have ever seen. In a bright room, it offers excellent performance. It's also a really good gaming TV. The downside to its gaming is that there's only one HDMI 2.1 port, but now that we are starting to see HDMI 2.1 splitters or switches coming out, that can be alleviated somewhat, and AVR receivers are starting to come out now with working HDMI 2.1, so it doesn't take it out of the running for a gaming TV. It just offers a completely different kind of experience than what an OLED would offer. So, quick run through the specs. It has HDR10, HDR10 Plus. It does not have Dolby Vision. That's something that I have another video on. For gaming, there is VRR. It has very low input lag, 120 Hz, with eARC or Enhanced Audio Return Channel support. It does have pretty much most of the features that a flagship should have. We just wish that it was like the European QN90A model, which had the 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, but sadly we don't get that here in the US. So when it comes to image quality, there's a few downsides, but then there's also a few things that are, let's say, its party trick that really makes it shine. So on the downsides, because it's not OLED, it has to figure out how to get the darks or blacks as dark as possible. So with the mini LED backlighting, it can get very, very dark. The problem is in game mode specifically, it just doesn't work as well as in movie modes. And so that can cause blooming or lifted near black shadowy areas that just look too bright. Now it does do a better job than many other full array local dimming or mini LED TVs. However, it just still can't match that performance of an OLED. Now on the flip side, it gets very, very, very bright. The downside to that is Samsung does not give you an option to turn off its dynamic tone mapping, which causes it to have over-brightened midtones. So that's something that most people would probably prefer anyway, but if you're looking for accuracy, you're not really going to get it with the QN90A. So another issue is here, if you looked at the bottom right icon, how it really glowed and blew itself out, but then constricted itself back to show the detail. That's an issue where the source is saying to the TV that this needs to be very bright, and the TV is just a little laggy in determining how bright it's supposed to be. That is noticeable in a few games that I tried. Don't know if it's a complete deal breaker, but it is a little distracting. So, but on the other side, you can be in a situation like this in gaming where it looks probably the best of any TV on the market. It's just really incredible sometimes. It does seem to have, I guess, split personality where it can make very bright scenes just super bright and shine very well. Then you get to darker scenes where it tries to handle the issues that an LCD has with darker areas, but at the expense of not being able to hit highlights when it's doing so. So it'll be trying really hard to get those darks really dark and nice looking, and then you'll have just a little small, bright light or lamp or something in the scene, and it just can't push it as bright as an OLED can. So, but one of the advantages for the QN90A is if you have reflections. So it's a fairly decently bright day out. Have the curtains open. My cat's coming in the window. So, to me, I still wouldn't be able to watch it like this. Even if with a bright scene like this, it still just comes through too much. However, it is a lot better than an OLED or any other TV that I have seen. So here, turn the local dimming up to high, and it still doesn't completely defeat that window reflection. Now, however, if you're just watching TV and it's middle of the day and you have the curtains open and reflections hitting it, it's going to be fine for most people. I don't think that anyone's really going to be trying to have a serious movie or TV watching experience with that much lighting hitting the screen directly. So as far as the out-of-the-box accuracy, here in SDR, you can see that it tracks fairly well to D65. The only real issue here is color accuracy. So it seems to me that Samsung tries to have a pretty decent grayscale and gamma, but they do push a little too much green, and after that they just do what they want with the colors. So Samsung is going to Samsung. So now if you have the local dimming turned to high in SDR, it's no good. That you don't want to do that. You use high for HDR and low for SDR. Now there really wasn't a whole lot of changes that had to be made in HDR, but in SDR I did find that the contrast did clip colors at its default 45, so you might want to lower that to 40. And then the shadow detail, I found -1 to be a good setting for SDR. And then again, HDR, you really don't need to mess with too much, so don't worry about that. And then keep your color tone at warm 2. So other than that, that's about all the settings you really need to know. And then this is 1% and then 10% Windows, and then 25%, and then full screen. So you can see as the window size got smaller, it's losing brightness compared to 25% being its highest. So in really, really small highlights, it will not be as bright as an OLED. But in very, very bright scenes, it's far, far brighter than an OLED. So even though the color accuracy is not correct, the color gamut does seem a bit wider when it comes to cyan and teal. So there is like more shades in water and skies, which gives it a unique look compared to other TVs. So here, if the camera is looking like it's blowing out, it's not. It's the camera just has no chance at trying to capture the full brightness of the TV. I'm sure a lot of you know about Samsung's issues with quality control or dirty screen effect. So this particular one that I had looked pretty good overall, except for on around a 50% gray pattern full screen. It looked like there was splotches in the screen. Haven't really seen that in other TVs before. So LCD TVs don't have a break-in period like OLED, so there's nothing you can really do about it. So I would suggest, if you get the QN90A, check it very thoroughly when you get it, and then if you have to, exchange it until you get one that you can live with. So just keep that in mind when it comes time to make your purchase. Make sure you go through somewhere that can afford to have multiple exchanges if you would need to do that. And so now if you pick the QN90A and you're happy, just be happy. There's always going to be people out there who are going to tell you, oh, you should have went OLED, or you should have went with this TV or that TV. And you know what? You still got something special. And then just keep that in mind. Just because the QN90A wasn't for me personally doesn't mean it won't be the best TV to you. It does a lot of things very, very well and is very impressive in quite a lot of scenes and scenarios. So just keep that in mind. There's not one TV that fits everyone's needs. So I'm going to wrap this up here. If you liked this video, I would appreciate if you could press the like button so more people could find it. Keep an eye out for more content. I am going to do one more QN90A video with its comparison to the KS8000. Just the footage that I had shot of the KS8000 didn't turn out too well, so I have to redo that. So that'll be coming in the next couple of weeks, most likely. And just a teaser, for as great as the KS8000 was in its time, the QN90A is a huge step forward. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.